Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Life Reset Collective. My name is Josh. Today, we are talking about how to reset your life after 40 and offering encouragement and motivation about that. I am not quite 40, but I have been through two major life resets. One of them when I was in my 20s, and the other one I'm going through right now, pretty much completely resetting my life from scratch. This is something that sometimes we have to do, and it's very difficult in life. That's the purpose of this channel. The Life Reset Collective's mission is this. We exist to support individuals rebuilding their lives after loss, trauma, burnout, or major life transition. Through soul deep encouragement, sacred wisdom, and practical tools, we walk with you as you begin again with intention, self compassion, and courage. We believe healing is non-linear. Everyone deserves a second chance, and your story isn't over. It's just the new beginning. We believe everyone deserves a second chance, and it is truly a new beginning. And even when you're in your 40s, or even if you're approaching your 40s, or even if you're older than that, even if you're in your 50s, this is going to apply to you. Now, I want to start by naming the truth. Starting over in your 40s is not easy, but it's valid, and you're not the only one who's had to go through it. I don't say that to minimize it. I say that to tell you there's plenty of hope on the horizon. Starting over in your 40s can feel like standing in the ashes of a life you gave everything to. It's disorienting, humbling, and sometimes heavy with shame or fear. But if you're here, it means you're still reaching for the next step. You're still hoping for better tomorrow. It means there is still chances to make your life incredible, for the best chapter to be ahead for you. And that is what I believe in. I believe that each one of us has the ability to do that for ourselves. There are some steps that we're going to maybe need to go through. We're going to need a lot of encouragement. But the main point of this first point of naming this truth is that this really does happen. It's literally happening to me. I'm not even someone who's made what you might consider terrible choices in life. You might not be either. Sometimes you find yourself at a place in life where you never expected to be here. When you were in high school, you had the highest hopes and dreams. When you were in college, you had the biggest dreams. You were going to do these big things. You were going to make all this money. You were going to have all these friends. You were going to have this family, this relationship. And you know as well as I do that sometimes you get into life and things do not go as planned. But continuing onward, this is bravery. You and I both know that as you come up on that 40s mark, when you're in your 40s and maybe even going toward the 50s, it can start to feel like, oh my God, am I ever going to get this figured out? Am I ever going to get this figured out? This can be a real source of fear. This can be a real source of shame, embarrassment, of self-judgment. I want to tell you today, if you can, try to push those negative things to the side. And I want to talk here in point number 2. Here's why your 40s might actually be the most powerful time in your life to begin again. In your 40s, you know yourself in ways you didn't before. You know what you value, what you won't tolerate. You've made enough mistakes probably to realize that you probably won't make them again. The odds that you're going to do things that are going to lead to good outcomes are so much better. You know, I heard something online the other day, and I can't even remember who was saying it, but they basically said, it was this guy talking in this video, and what he said was very actually hopeful, and it made me realize what I think is a vital truth. He said everything that happens before you're 40 was just trial run. It was just you trying to figure out the rules to the game. And it takes 40 years to just understand the rules of this game we call life. After 40 is when the game really starts. That's when you actually launch. Now, I realize that some people might hear that and they might think, oh, that's not true. I launched when I was in high school. Or I launched when I was in college. Oh, I've made so much progress. Okay. But there are some people, some lives, some circumstances, mine included. That's partly why I'm making this channel, where things did not go that way. Maybe it launched in high school, but boy, I got knocked down plenty of times. Boy, I ran right into a wall plenty of times. Boy, I have got beaten up by life plenty of times. And you probably have too. So that thought is actually very comforting, and I want you to think about that. Another reason why the 40s might actually be the most powerful time in your life to begin again is that you're probably not chasing approval anymore. You're probably more likely seeking alignment. You've probably realized that there were games you were playing when you were younger that might have been a waste of your energy. And this is something that I don't think I started learning, really realizing until I was approaching 40. And it's possible that you're picking up on this as well. Another thing is that it's really important to understand that these realizations about life, about truth, about who we are, about the way life goes, this makes this time of life in our 40s the perfect moment to rebuild something real, the perfect moment to launch the real thing, right? Kind of like what I was saying before. Up to 40 is like a trial run. After 40 is when you can really, truly launch, right? Now, I want to move on to another point here. I want to talk about what usually triggers a life reset in this season and why it's more common than you might think, okay? Life resets in our 40s often come after something collapses. This could mean a relationship, like divorce. This has been basically the cause of both of my life resets. I had a divorce in my 20s, and I have a divorce now as I'm coming up on 40 that I'm actually navigating at the moment. And it's just both times my life basically it was like my life was a civilization that was nearing an apex, like both times, and then everything crashed, just almost like I was just thrown back to the Stone Age. It was like money gone. I mean, I'm not even going to go through the whole list. This isn't a poor me video. I'm trying to explain that I at least kind of might know how you feel. This feeling of like, oh my God, so much progress was made. And then it just feels like it was burned to the ground by whatever it is, whatever calamity happened. But as we approach this part of life, these kinds of things, whether it be divorce, whether it be losing your home because of financial difficulties, maybe it's your career, maybe you got downsized, maybe your job got replaced by AI, right? And you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've been in this for years now. What am I going to do? This can feel like a real crisis, and it can be a real crisis, and it can completely lead to a collapse and the need for a life reset, right? It doesn't even have to be something that specific. It could be a role you're playing in life. It could be that you're just experiencing massive burnout, either socially or emotionally or at work. There are so many things that can lead to this. And so the point of this is for you to understand that whatever brought you here, whatever the reason, it's valid. And it's really important to identify that and to hold on to that and to say to yourself, my life has collapsed, or my life is collapsing. This is not okay. We are in danger. I'm looking at needing to reset. And if you feel that way, friend, don't let anyone try to tell you that's invalid. Don't let anyone try to tell you you're being too dramatic, because that's a real feeling. And if you feel that way, it's probably true, because we don't just go out looking for reasons to feel that way. Let me tell you. And you probably know exactly what I'm saying. So whatever brought you here, whatever your situation was, it's valid. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. There could be many, many things that could trigger a life reset in your 40s. And I'm telling you right now, the fact that you're in this place where you're looking at this life reset situation doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It doesn't mean that you're a useless piece of garbage person. We've all made bad choices. We've all made mistakes. There isn't a human on this planet who hasn't made a mistake. And then sometimes those mistakes have big repercussions. Sometimes that's involved in a life reset. Personally, this channel is not about that. It's not about pointing fingers saying, oh, you should have known better. It's not like, oh, you better learn from your lessons so it doesn't happen again, like a judgment-oriented thing. That's not what this channel is about. Obviously, we learn from our lessons. But sometimes the hard circumstances beat us down until we're just in the bottom of the pit, in the mud. And we're looking at the situation where we have to climb back out. And in that situation, judgment isn't the answer. Chastising yourself, being chastised by someone else is not the answer. It's going to take a lot of hope, a lot of self-forgiveness, a lot of casting off judgment to begin that climb out of that hole. That's what this channel is about. And that's what I want you to give yourself. And that's what I want you to start to frame your mind around as you go through this process, okay? Now, my next point is this. It's time to reframe what starting over actually means, because it might not be what you're thinking. It might not be what other people think either. You might be thinking, you actually might be right. You might be thinking, I know what starting over looks like. Other people may not understand. But it's important that you get clarification on this so you don't feel like you're crazy, so that you know you're not crazy. What are you looking at? Okay, here are some points about that. This isn't square one, but it can feel like it. It's the start of something wiser, deeper, and more honest. That does not make it easy. It is still, it might be a literally painful, excruciating climb out of the mud where you're at right now. Super valid for you to feel that way, because I completely understand where you're coming from. Number two, you're not necessarily out to rebuild your old life. Some people may try to project that onto you, but you know as well as I do that that might not be the best thing. You're making room for something new, the real thing. That's what we're after in these circumstances. And point number three here, it's not too late. It's never too late, friend. In fact, this is the right time. Right now is the right time. I don't care how old you are. And to be really honest, I don't care if you're 20 or 30 or 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 or 100 watching this video. It is not too late. It is never too late. If you've got air in your lungs and you have life in your body, you have another day. And that is a beautiful chance to create something amazing. And you deserve that chance. You deserve every single chance you can get your hands on. I don't care what mistakes you might have made. I don't care what people out there might call you a bad person for things you've done. I don't care what judgment people may levy on you. I don't care how embarrassed you might feel about where you're at for whatever reason. It's embarrassing and it feels shameful to not be where you thought you were going to be when you're 40 or 50. But I want you to try to put that aside. I want you to try to embrace this idea, this belief, this truth that you shouldn't let shame hold you down, weigh you down. There's a certain element of like negative emotion that can help to spur us to action. It can help us to keep from laying in the mud and dying, but we do not want it to weigh us down. We don't want it to lead to self-judgment, self-punishment, self-cruelty. You do not deserve that. You don't deserve that. Okay, now I want to move on to my next point of the video here, which is if you're wondering how to even begin this process, I do have a roadmap that might help. I've put this together. It's called the Life Reset Framework. This is basically a very basic 9-step guide. I believe that a life reset happens in 9 steps. These steps are not linear, so they might occur in any different numbered order. But when I look back at my first life reset, and as I live through the second one right now, and when I say life reset, I'm talking I've experienced the low lows of homelessness, not having access to vehicle, losing job in the middle, high legal fees, trying to figure out how to pay them. I've never been without food. I always had money for food. I've had to work hard. But what I'm trying to tell you is that I'm not taking this lightly. And there are a lot of people on the spectrum of life reset, life collapse. There are a lot of people who've had much worse circumstances than me. And then I might have had it worse than some if we're looking objectively, but that doesn't matter. What matters is your perception of your experiences and how they affect you, and then how you can begin moving upwards, climbing back up that mountain toward hope and your new beginning. That's what it matters. So in the description, you'll find a link to the Life Reset Framework. You can download that for free. I put that together. Those are the 9 steps that I believe are important for every single life reset. And hopefully that book will help you with some motivation, some encouragement, and some practical steps that you can read. If nothing else, you can just look it over. And even if you take away 1 or 2 little things that might be helpful, it's worth it. So you can grab that in the description. That is kind of my little way of trying to offer you some help in that. And it doesn't cost you anything, so you can just grab it. Now, I want to move on to my next point. Point number 6. Before we go any further, I really want you to hear this. I really want you to hear this. And what I'm about to say, I want you to burn this into your memory. I want you to burn this into your brain. I want you to put this on a piece of paper and put it up on your battle station every day. You are not too late. Your story is not over. You are not irreparably broken. Your life is not irreparably destroyed. You are perhaps in a state of brokenness. You are in a state of transition. It's okay if it feels very messy. It's okay if it feels very slow. And it's okay if it feels incredibly uncertain. I would be super surprised if you do not feel some degree of all those things. But what is ahead of you isn't just recovery or rebuilding what you had, because that's all collapsed. That's all done. You know what I'm talking about. We don't even want to go back to that, probably. I don't know about you. You might want to. I don't even want to go back because it's just misery back there. What is ahead of you is a brand new paradise. Hope. The hope of a life of happiness, fulfillment, second chances, or third chances, or fourth chances. It's possibility. You can have that. I can have that. And we should go get it. We deserve to go get it. We deserve to shake off the shame, to tune out all those people who try to say bad things about you, put you down, tune out the voices in your head that try to put you down, and instead focus on hope and say, you know what? Today, I'm going to just take it one step at a time. I'm going to move up that mountain, because that might be a tall mountain, the mountain between you and your future. But eventually, if we take one step at a time, we're going to get to the top. And then we're going to get to the top. We're going to look over. You're going to see paradise on the other side of that mountain, friend. That is what is ahead for you. This is going to be a hard mountain climb. And there's no two ways about that. You and I both know that this is not a fun process, resetting your life. But at the top of that mountain, friend, you're going to see the other side. You're going to see hope. You're going to see that all that effort was worth it. I believe that. I believe that's what's in front of us. And I believe hope is essential. So recognizing that that's what's ahead is so crucial. This is going to lead me to my final point. Okay. What can you actually do today to move forward? Even if you're still in the fog, even if you're still in the collapse, let's talk about that for just a minute. First of all, you do not need a full plan to begin again. You just need one clear step. Okay. Make your bed, go outside, send one text, go run one errand on your to-do list, breathe on purpose. Sometimes just getting up and trudging through your day is a huge victory. And you know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. Start there. Let that small act, whatever that is, become proof that you're still moving and that you are not done. And let it prove to you that you can wake up and you can keep going, and that you believe in yourself enough and you believe that you deserve it enough, that you're worth it, because you are. Please try to tune out those shameful voices, those voices of judgment, those voices of condemnation saying, what? You're almost 40, or you're 40, or you're almost 50, or you're almost 60, and you don't have it figured out yet? You're still trying to climb out of the hole? You still haven't become famous, or gotten rich, or found true love, or you still don't have the perfect family, or the brand new car, or the big beautiful house? Friend, these petty judgments that our modern society puts on you are only going to weigh you down. Please find the freedom to just shirk those. And of anyone in this world, let me tell you right now, I understand that if you're 40, 50, 60, and you say to me, man, I just feel like I should be way further ahead right now. I feel like I'm just the bottom of the hole. How could I be here at 40, at 50? By now, why don't I have all this stuff figured out? And I am going to understand, and I'm going to say, me too, brother. Me too, sister. But you know what? You're not the only one. Neither am I. Let's tune out those voices. Let's cast off that judgment, and let's move into the future. We can do it. I know we can do it. I know, because I've done it once, and I'm doing it again, and I want that for you. So let's do it. Let's make it happen. Thank you so much for coming back for another one of my videos. This is the Life Reset Collective. My name is Josh. Friend, go with grace. Give yourself some kindness today. Give yourself forgiveness today. Give yourself hope today. I will see you awesome people on the next video.